Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Howdy Partner show. I am Pyone. I am a solutions architect at AWS, and with me is Lauren. Would you like to introduce yourself as well?
Hey folks, I'm Lauren Marble. I'm a senior solutions architect in our spatial computing group here in our specialist organization. So my specialty is spatial computing and super excited about today's Howdy Partner.
Yeah, thank you for joining, Lauren. And to everyone who has watched Howdy Partner before, and to all of the new folks, Howdy Partner is a weekly Twitch series highlighting AWS partner network partners that have built innovative solutions validated by AWS solutions architects. So, today's partner is artlabs. They have a really cool offering. So we'll start by watching their intro video, and then we'll get to introductions.
Oh, hey,
Cool.
Hello.
Cool.
love me a good sizzle reel.
Art Labs team, would you like to introduce to the viewers?
Of course, I will share my screen. So thank you so much for welcoming us to this very fruitful conversation today. And I'm sharing my screen. Please let me know if you can see that.
Yep.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ugur, co-founder and CEO of artlabs. Artlabs is a platform building AI-powered immersive shopping experiences for e-commerce. Today we will talk a lot about artlabs, but before starting that, please let us introduce ourselves. Yigit, can you please
Sure.
start?
Thanks, Ur. So I'm Yigit. I'm leading the partnership and ecosystem building at artlabs. I'm an ex B2B SaaS and the mostly in growth product and analytics context guy. Currently, naturally, mainly focusing on how we can create value, like with our partners, for our partners, and creating the models to find the best way to distribute our solutions with like partners like AWS. So we've been looking forward to this event, guys. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. This is Damla. I'm the product and customer success lead at artlabs. So I've been working in the B2B SaaS industry before artlabs as well, and I am actually providing, the best product possible out there, just to make sure that we have like oriented the customers perfectly and smoothly for their onboarding and after the onboarding process as well. And thank you for having us. We are really excited to share the story and the artlabs product.
Thank you, Damla. And again, I'm Ur, co-founder and CEO. I'm mostly overseeing the product strategy and doing the boring parts like the investor relations and the sales operations. Also, today we have Sercan, who is waiting on the backstage, who is our CTO, building the software architecture, doing everything related to the integration and the implementation, leading the development team. He is also waiting in the backstage to answer your specific questions about the architecture and the software platform. So we start the company because we believe today we are at the edge of transformation from 2D to 3D internet. Like, whatever you call it, like augmented reality, virtual reality, spatial computing. There was another term 2 years ago, metaverse, was too popular. But the common thing is that we are talking about the 3D interactions. We are living in a 3D world, but the experiences are limited to the 2D screens. But we believe it will change. The shape of the internet will be in 3D. And our vision is to be the go-to name when it comes to 3D production in many industries. We want to democratize 3D content generation and enabling next generation applications in this area. And we started with a specific vertical, which is related to online shopping. Like online shopping is very convenient, but it lacks the physical interaction that customers having in the brick and mortar the stores. So it leads to uncertainty during the decision-making process, like purchasing process, which ends up with low conversion rates and high return rates. And we want to revert it by helping retailers and their customers to harness the potential of 3D experiences. And we believe we are in a great time to do this. Recently Amazon has published a study saying, the augmented reality, virtual try-on experiences are driving 2 times more conversion on Amazon.com, and it is pushing its vendors to use 3D visuals in the mobile applications. And but it is kind of problematic to scale 3D generation because, to implement an augmented reality experience, you need digital twins of physical samples, which is a very, mostly a manual process. Brands either, they have 2 choices. Either they hire hundreds of 3D artists to sketch those digital twins from scratch, or building photo shooting studios with heavy equipment, or sometimes, it even requires shipping the products to another country and getting them back and forth to create the 3D scans. And we know this problem very well. This is me in this photo. Previously, we have literally slept in the studios of those brands to scan thousands of products. It is not only scanning, by the way. You need to organize the shoe boxes, even cleaning them if they are dusty or something. So it was a real hustle for us. So we had to, to think out of the box, how we can scale it. So we started to develop an AI solution 3 years ago, before generative AI was so cool, actually. So our goal was to generate 3D assets from the existing, available product images by merging them with the AI technology and create AR experiences effortlessly. By the way, it is not a fully automated process. Our engine is generating an initial mesh or geometry with a texture, where we are doing all the computation on our GPU cloud, and then our, the 3D artists are making the touch-up and the quality assurance process to ensure we are delivering the highest possible quality for the e-commerce owners. And here's an example. Just think about Foot Locker. They have 5,000 products each season. If you try to manually sketch them or scan, the thousands of products, it takes 10 months to digitize the catalog. But actually, 3 months later, a new season is coming. So you can't catch up. You can't scale it up. And when you can't scale up, if you are not showing augmented reality experiences entire your catalog, it is not being a compelling experience for the end users. Imagine you go to a website, you see augmented reality 3D experiences for some of the product, but the rest does not have it. It creates a confusion. But with the artlabs technology, we can onboard them in 1 month to make it 10 times faster and 5 times cost efficient to bring the most return on investment. Actually, we have a very highly technical team. They published different mobile products in different startups, has reached millions of users. they published 30 scientific papers in the area of AR and AI, but we don't forget to have fun as well. We are, frequently having, the retreats. So I just wanted to put some, the retreat photos here instead of some boring, the very official pictures. By believing it will be a really fun, session today. And just an overview, artlabs today is delivering AR experiences to more than 30 brands and retailers across 11 countries. And we really prioritize the customer satisfaction. And one of the proofs, from the G2, we got, the 5-star, the recommendations from our customers. And we are rewarded by the badges with Momentum Leader and High Performer in the last summer. And Yigit, do you want to go ahead with this?
Yeah, sure. Like just touching up on the how we're working with AWS is also it will be great to start before the product demo. So like we want to put like two of our badges, the qualified software and partner, because it has a story, like it's telling the story. So like to become a partner, first you're going through the qualifying the software. So in our case, like we worked with the brilliant solutions architects to review our software. Then we partnered up with the team to explore some cross-sell opportunities and look further where we can expand our solutions and where we can reach. So mainly we store, distribute, and serve totally on AWS. And thanks to this, in the previous month, we served 3 terabytes of 3D data to 22 million plus users from our CloudFront CDN. So this is actually the beginning and the how it goes with the AWS. So yeah, I think since you're the person spending most time on the enterprise side, so please we can head on.
Yeah. The security is very important for us because we are working with data, and then, also we have approved by the Amazon through the FTR process, but we are also getting, the different, the security certificates like, the ISO and being the GDPR compliant company. Yes, this is an overview. I hope it was not that long for a start.
No, I think it was fine. It gave us a good overview of who you are, what your journey has been like. But I'm kind of curious, how does your workflow look like? And also, like, how do you work with an enterprise in general? Can you cover that as well a little bit?
Sure. I'm sharing my screen again. I will not talk anymore, by the way. After this point, the Damla will go ahead, with the product, the deep dive. But it is
We
the
can
last.
never have too much or. Come on.
I'm sorry for this. So I just, to try to make it as simple as possible because, like, our backend is, of course, very complicated, but we make it easy to streamline, to solution, to onboard large enterprises and scale the augmented reality experiences. The first thing we are doing, we are connecting to their content management system with an API to retrieve the 2D images, the available images on the website to the artlabs cloud. First, our AI works, and then it creates a mesh, a 3D, the asset initially. Then, as I mentioned before, we are doing the quality assurance and making sure they are optimized assets that can be rendered in real time in mobile phones and especially on the browser. So after this, completing this process, in parallel, we are integrating our AR SDKs into our, the customers' websites that they can, show live augmented reality experiences to their customers. And we have also an embedded analytics solution that we can, measure how it affects the conversion rates if people are engaging with augmented reality experiences on the website. So, as a whole, you can think of artlabs platform as, getting 2D images, or some cases, we are also getting some 3D high resolution files, like CAD files in some cases. So we create 3D, adding augmented reality virtual try-on experiences on top of that, and distribute it to anywhere, starting with e-commerce and 3D ads, but also, 3D video, 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 3 But those assets can also be used for the different purposes, like for the game engines or video engines. This is more like a the workflow overview, more technical. I want to to give you the summary, like once we get the the 2D images from the customer, the 3D assets are generated. Our optimization solution compresses the file to make them under 3 megabytes that can be downloaded under 1 second, and we create different file formats that can be rendered in the different devices. So we are preparing for the virtual try-on. The only thing that our partners, our customers are doing is the QA approval at the end of the day to publish the experiences with their customers. So they don't see anything in between. We are just connecting their CMS, and they are getting the the 3D experiences. This is what we are doing the easy for them. And this is how it looks like. The only thing our customers see a QA approval. They are the onboarding into a catalog that they can see the overall progress, check the products in 3D, AR, and authorized people can publish or unpublish on their website to present them to their users. That's it. And we are also the customizing everything for them, because since we are working with large enterprises, it is very important for us to represent their brand identity on our experiences. We are showing different UX options, like they're showing multiple colorways, or enabling add to cart experiences within the AR experience, like because, and we have observed that it triggers especially the medium or low intent users to buy more. When they are seeing the augmented reality, during their the purchasing journey. And without measuring, everything is meaningless. Of course, we are providing a real-time dashboard that our customers can see the number of the experiences they are delivering, the engagement rate, distribution across the different operating systems, devices, or geography. And this week we are also launching our next version of the analytics solution to observe the conversion rate and the change in the conversion rate. This is the last slide, and I will be done after this. We started with the 3D experiences, but once you create the 3D, opportunities are limitless. So we plan to expand our product offerings that will touch to the different teams within those customers. For example, once you have a 3D, you can create a commercial video with it, because you see all the angles. You can use these 3D assets on the B2B catalogs instead of direct to consumer experiences. And in the end game, we want to be the main platform providing an API to be the visual operating system in the different industries and all sides of businesses. And pretty much that's it.
Awesome. I did have a question. When you mentioned that you import some kind of CAD files, what type of CAD files do you? I imagine there's not a CAD file of a shoe, perhaps.
There are some.
Are there?
There are some, the well-known 3D design software like Cloud 3D or Browseware that you can sketch apparels or the shoes for the design purposes. So since they are making with the design purposes, they are kind of different formats, like gigabytes of files. It is not like the presenting something. It is for the design process. But still, we are utilizing in some of our customers. For example, home appliance products. Gotcha. They have some machines, they have some CAD files. So without CAD, they can't produce it.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, Damla.
Okay.
Now we're getting to the good part. Yeah.
Let's go. Let's build.
I'm just, as you see, I'm just telling stories, not doing something important. Damla is the one doing the important job here.
You can still tell stories. We want to see it in action,
Yeah, I was gonna tell you the guys exactly the same. Let's get into the action and see everything in live and walk through the demo and products that we have as artlabs. So I'm gonna share my screen right now.
Enough words, huh?
So, okay. So the first thing that I would like to show you guys is the ArtLab Studio in a like super admin view. This is like my account, which is like a super admin, and it will just, when you just log into the dashboard, it will actually show you the how many models we have in the platform, in the like customer management system, and also how many like models in the ArtLab Studio, and how many like objects we are dealing with, the projects, and also the total products that you can see actually all the information in a nutshell in this one. So the second is that I would like to go through the demo with the Howdy Partner accounts that we have created for you guys. So let me just go through that one. So once you log into the ArtLab Studio with the partner accounts, with the partner related to your actually requirements, so you will receive some kind of this look, which will have, you know, different functionalities, different features in it. So I will try to explain as much as possible, and also the most used and most beneficial features in this studio, and how we streamline the actually workflow to make it more efficient and more streamlined. So the first thing that I would like to show you guys is the image to 3D part. So how we create these, you know, 3D models via AI by just providing 6 images. So this is our like list. This, once you log in, this is your list that you will see your already created or existing products, existing 3D generated models, AI generated models. Once you click on the new on top right, you can actually import your zip files, give it a name, choose your quality level, and then it will show you your statistics inside of the zip. So I will just upload one zip and then show you what I have inside first.
And Damla, you mentioned 6 files. Is that like a typical minimum that you have to have in order to create the model, like the 3D model in the meshes?
You can actually provide as much as you would like. We suggest that 6 because it actually covers all the main angles. We don't want this AI model to actually try to guess any angles of the shoe or any angles of the, you know, the bag or anything that you would like to create. So 6 usually covers it. But if you would like to provide more angles to the system, that's also fine. You know, you can go ahead.
And do you have like a setup guide for people to say, hey, these are the, like, for this kind of product, take these kinds of pictures, or for...
Yeah, we have the documentation actually that you can access it by clicking the documentation part. There is like a, you know, it explains every feature we have. It explains the sections like image to 3D, what's like suggested, you know, angles, or how we actually make these, you know, get the better products, you know, if you provide more images or less images, what might be the angle. So we have recommendation over there.
Awesome, thanks.
I will also show you which set I'm uploading right now. This is like Nike Air Jordan. I have the, you know, the one of the main angles, the left side. I also have the sole part and also right side from the top. That's important for the AI model to see, you know, from top. And also some like extra angle that we put it here and then from the back. So with this one, you don't actually have to guess, but you can create the product that you would like via predicted guesses, let's say.
Yeah, I want to add one thing here. This is not a an additional photography, Lauren. We just downloaded these photos from the official Nike website. They already present these photos. You know, these are enough. You know, usually we are just using what they have.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
And is there a count of how many for different type of products? Is it 6 for sneakers and then maybe a lower number for handbags, or
like as I said, you know, try to cover every angles that you would like to cover, like every details of the shoe, bag, or, you know, any hardware, or maybe, you know, the home appliances that you would like to go for it. So try to cover every angle with the images, and then you might get, you know, maybe 6, maybe 10. So this, as you said, this depends on the product that you would like to get it actually.
okay.
So I'm just going to give it a name here. This is for this demo. So once you click save, This image set will be turning into the 3D asset once I accept it. Our actually robots are working on it right now. So once they're done with it, you will receive your 3D models, but the computation time is like around 2 hours. So that's why we have already created for you guys with this asset. So I will show you in the objects part.
And can you do multiple at once? So you say it takes 2 hours, but what if you want to upload like 10, 100? I don't know. I imagine companies do many at a time.
That's why we have AWS, right, for scaling the computation.
Let's go.
We're good at stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, we are working on batches. Nobody is, wants a single 3D model. Usually they want 1,000 each month.
Right.
So we have to work in
Yeah.
batches and, they scale it horizontally through the cloud.
Cool.
So here you will see the 3D models, like this is a preview and management part. So this is the list of the 3D models that we have created for this like demo purposes. And as like Ugur said, no one is asking for the manual, one by one uploading or anything. So we have the batch operation here. You can actually just go ahead. If you have 3D files, you can actually go ahead and put all the things like here, and then it will generate these one by one. And also you can go ahead and do the like optimization. Like I will show you some cool stuff, let's say like presets, optimization, like operations as a like batch as well. So you don't have to go everything by one by one. So first thing, I would like to start with the Nike Air Jordan because this is running in the backend right now. So I would like to show you guys how is the results after we produce these, 3D models via AI. So this is an AI generated model. So I would like to remind all of you. So it's actually it still has some defects on it. As Ugur said, there is like human in between. So we will require human touch on these 3D models as well. So one leg in ArtLabs Studio is the image to 3D, just generating the 3D via AI. And the second leg, I would like to call it like a collaboration with the human. So here I would like to go into deep these collaboration steps, how we actually reduce the time, increase the efficiency by providing, some cool feature and some like useful things to the 3D artists and 3D team internally. So once we get these, AI model, it's actually, it has some defects. You need to actually touch on some areas, but you need to give instructions to the 3D artist. So here collaboration comes in place. You need to share your thoughts, what needs to be actually done on this model, and how this model is going to look like at the end of the stage. So that's why we have provided these 2D images that I uploaded for the AI generation as well. So these two images is the 6 image that you can provide more as well here. The 3D artist can go ahead and download it, sorry. So they can actually work on it, get the correct texture, get the correct color if necessary from the 2D images. And also we can provide the annotation here. So annotation will say that what needs to be done and maybe how needs to be done. You can always just put some links here, just showing that this technique might be applied here. You can check it out. This like maybe drive folder, you already have like screen recording, you can just provide these as well to be useful and to just reduce the time between these communications. So
where would you upload those items? Like if you had a screen
I'm just
recording.
going to show you one example,
Okay.
but before that, I would like to show you this tag. So in the right-hand side, as you will see, we have the generate tag because this is like just generated from the AI. So once I actually put some annotations on it, you will see that just putting the annotation is very easy. I'm going to do like a very easy one for you guys. When you double click on the area that you would like to add the annotation, so I see some dirtiness on the texture. I'll just type it. The dirty texture should be cleaned. And here you can provide the links that you would like to provide it just for the to be useful to the 3D artists and making sure that they are like following through the right guidelines. And you can add it here. And once you click add, you will see that our tag is just turned to the needs retouch. So what this means is that this model needs some retouch on it, and we send mails to automatically to the related 3D artist who is assigned to this job. So they get the email, and then they're just like providing their work. And once they are finished, actually, they can like upload upload the new file by just clicking here, upload objects, actually. So and then another thing I would like to mention is, like, we already said that collaboration, like annotation, revision, close shots, images, and we have the versioning here. Once they actually upload a new version, so I have already uploaded a new version here, but I'll just upload one more for you guys just to show you how the tag is changing, and also how the uploading is really easy thing for us. So I'll just get this one. And if the 3D artist has any notes actually to do a QA person, they can type it here. If there is any parts that they couldn't do it, so they can just mention it here to provide more information to the QA team, so they can actually understand what the thought behind the scenes. So I'll just upload this one. And it turned to the review, and we sent the automatic email to the QA person as well, that's saying that, okay, your asset is ready to be reviewed, and you can check it out and see if everything is all right. So how we are helping to the QA team? So we try to help the 3D artists with the, different features, annotation, revisions, close shots, so they can also, I'll show you one more thing, just not to forget about it. So because some of the annotations might be overlapped here, but once you hide all and just go through one by one, you will see where this actually annotation placed, and then you can do it easily just seeing those.
Damla, when you were uploading the new version, there was a little checkbox at the bottom that said, "Is VTO?" I'm assuming for Torch Pyone. What difference does that make if you select that button?
So if it's video, as you will see here, like we have this publish VTO at the right side. We also have the publish AR. So once you go like one of these. Yes. Once you go one of these, you can publish the AR. But if it's a VTO version, it has the occluder and shoot up. It has the related, parts to the 3D model. Not only the 3D model we have, but also some parts that's required for the VTO, which are, occluders and shoot up. So if they're applied to the 3D model by manually, we don't do it manually, but it's just the, small things that if we need to, we can just click that button, and we understand that that's a VTO file, and this tag will automatically turn to publish VTO, so they can actually publish it very easily.
Nice.
And okay, now I was talking how we are helping to the QA team. So for the QA person, it's very important to actually compare the models in between, because sometimes they need to check, the small details. We are working with the e-commerce companies, so the standard is very high. You need to show it exactly how it looks, the shoe in real life. So that's why it's really important to check the little details. We have the comparison feature that you can actually check, the version 1, which is the AI generated 3D model, and version 2, which is the like finished one uploaded by the 3D artist, or version 4, the uploaded by me. So as you can see, they can like zoom in, or they can like rotate the shoe just to make sure everything is like properly done, and we don't have any mistakes on the shoe that we don't want to serve it to the customers. So it's very important for us to provide high quality in a short amount of time. That's why we have these features that we would like to ease the process internally and make these workflow very efficient for all of us.
There's a question in the chat that's probably a bit more of a philosophical question, or kind of going to force us to zoom way back out on this conversation. They said, why 3D model shoes? And so, whoever asked that question might have been, trolling a bit maybe, but on the off chance that they're not, I think, it's a good question that somebody who isn't in this space and might not, like, why not just use the picture? Why not just take a still from a video?
Yeah, this is a great question, and we will come up there because, like, at the end of this, the demo, once the Damla is finished, we will show you some real-time experiences, how it works, in the customer website, how you can try them virtually, which requires 3D asset because you need a 360, the visual that you can see all the angles when you are trying something. So with the, in the 2D space, it is almost impossible to have a real-time experience. Of course, today with the diffusion techniques, you can create some AI-generated assets, just like the merging, a model, a virtual model, and a product. But for the real-time experiences, 3D is a must.
Thank you.
Dana, can you go ahead with the the optimization things? I think.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, the next thing was that. So once we get to the finished products, what we are doing is that we actually provide optimization and then necessary operation, let's say, to make it AR ready and VTO ready. So once you click on the operations and preset parts, you will see that you can choose a preset, or you can actually create the custom process for yourself. So I will show you the first thing is a custom process, which you can actually chain these process and make it, your own preset. But we already have like some presets that we have prepared for our clients. We have also, some partner presets, and we also have some internal ones. But here we are going to use the AR ready, which has the, necessary operations that actually gets us to the endpoint, which is less than 100K triangle count, and also less than, around 1 megabyte in file size. So that's really important, the AR, just to make sure that we get the fast uploading and good user experiences. So I will just run this for the finished product, and it will say it's automating right now. And this operation, since like chained by various operations, it will take around 7 to 8 minutes, and it will automatically upload the new version to here as the version 5. But again, let's not take your like 7-8 minutes waiting for this automation to be done. And we have created these automations for you, and it's already done here. As you will see, it has the tag, it's automated, and it's in the correct dimension. So you can check the shoe dimension by just clicking the show dimension button here. And once it's actually done, and you are like confident that, okay, I'm confident with this products and it's ready to go to the, the clients, you can publish this assets by clicking the publish AR here. So I will just find this one that I already created for you guys. This is Nike Air Jordan Mid and AI generated assets for the Howdy Partner. So after you publish, you'll get some confetti. It's successful. And then what I would like to show you here is that you will see that what's your stats, like the triangle count, what's the file size. And it's really important that we have the, really small file sizes and triangle count as well. So you can also get these, the total counts, what's the mesh count, what's the texture count and material count, and also their sizes as well. It's very useful information into regarding to the model. And also, by just like showing these, the advanced setting here we have is that you can play with the tone mapping, environment exposure at the same time. So this is really cool feature that you will need by publishing AR. If you would like to change the scene, I will show you one of these. Like if you would like to go, this is like a industry standard model viewer environment map. So if you would like to change this to these, the lighting is going to change, as you will see, because the environment map around the shoe is changing. So this will do a dramatic change. Actually, you will see that very bright white around here. And also you can play with the tone mapping as well. It will just change the scene, as I said. And another cool feature is that you can directly download the texture of the shoe or of the 3D model that you have. And once you play with it, you sometimes you need to play with the texture as well. And once you play with it, you can just upload it using here, and then it will just automatically go into the 3D models that you have. And a couple of examples I will show you here. One of them is the boots. We have, this is like AI generated results that you will see here, that has some defects, but it looks really good in terms of the texture and coloring, because I'll show you the finished one. So there is, like, as you will see, it looks neater than the version 1, but it's pretty close to the AI generated one. So that's why I would like to show you this one. This is like another examples. And the VTO models that you ask, actually, if this is a Meteor model, you will see actually the occluder and shoot up. So I will just start VTO model with the Nike Jordan example. And then the second example that I would like to show you is that high heels. So this is also AI generated high heels. And I would like to show you the finished one here. And once you will see that this is actually a lot higher end on the triangle count and file size. So that's why once we actually optimize these with our presets, you will get the triangle count and the file size a lot less than the original one.
So the
Yeah.
triangle count is not exactly correlated to the smoothness of the products, the
Actually,
model.
yeah, actually it is. If you reduce the triangle count, it will be more like, if you make it 5 triangle in
Mhm.
total, it will be like like a mountain on the shoe. So there is the trade-off between the quality and the performance.
Okay.
So we need to find the without losing the visual fidelity. Still,
Mhm.
it must represent the product very well, but also it must be the very low in the size, so you can get a higher FPS during the real-time render, and the in trade of the quality. But also Apple or the Amazon has some standards. For example, Amazon has 3D guideline for its
Mhm.
vendors. It says your 3D assets must be less than 200 the triangle, and less than the 3 MB files. That there are some standards, and we are just following them.
When you go to analyze that trade-off, is that something that the software does to kind of balance the two, or is that part of the human in the loop process and part of the feedback that
No, it is like we set the standards. We are suggesting this to our clients, as the expert. I was saying, also, it must be that triangle, that size. It is the best for everyone, because the Damla is the took over the process of a single shoe. But actually, we are not just clicking on the different buttons and buttons, in that part. We are taking 1,000 assets, so creating the AI, the distributed anywhere, optimize them, in scale. So it is like, being the thousands of assets. So we don't do this for each single 3D asset. We are just setting the standards for that project, for that client. We are aligning on the quality and everything. The rest is scaling it up.
and after you do that, if they decide, maybe we made a mistake in the original, we're like, we trade-off, can you go and adjust certain things? Cool.
Yeah, it is the good thing of having batch operations. So you can go over all the 3D assets generated one by one with a script. They change the quality for each of them, and then you can move on.
Yeah, and there's always the feedback. Can we change the exposure a little bit for the white shoes? This is the literal customer feedback at some point.
Oh,
So,
I can't imagine in marketing that anybody would care about
Yeah.
the nitty-gritty of the exposure.
And you need to be very careful, because it is an end user experience,
Yep.
because those brands are very sensitive about what they are
Oh, I'm
showing
sure.
to their customers.
Yeah,
So
I come from industry, so the focus is a little bit different, right? So I'm, over my couple years at AWS, like learning what matters to other industries and sectors has been, what sounds kind of like okay to me. Other people are like, oh, no, this is like absolute deal breaker. It's like, got it. So quite the learning curve, but excellent.
Thank you.
So we are coming to virtual try-on experiences, this part actually. So this is the results that I told you guys earlier, that we are going to get the, version 5 as like results of our chained automation, chained operations. So once we get this, automated version, the AR version, we run the actually VTO presets on top of these 3D model, that we can actually insert the necessary parts, like as I said, occluder, shoe tops, and position the shoe correctly on the system. So right now what we are gonna do is, you need to check if this is like left shoe and right shoe. This is like left pair. So I'm just gonna run the VTO ready left.
I think
So
it is right, by the way.
when I tried, it was left, but let's just try and see. So, okay, what we are doing here is that we are exporting this as in the correct size, in the correct format, and if there are like multiple meshes, you will just join the meshes, and then we will align this shoe and then do the like some magics, as I said, the occluder and shoe top. I'll show you guys. So this automation is pretty short. This is like 40 seconds almost, and we will just get the the results right after this. And then we will go to VTO editor on the left, as you see. So what we're going to do in the VTO editor, we will receive, some images and video in the background, and we will just adjust this shoe to the image and video. So you guys see some magic happening over there. Yes, okay, this is done. As you can see, automating is finished, and we get the, the GLB version, like with GLB VTO version of this shoe. We have generated the other pair as well. So here, what we are gonna do is, we will click the fine-tune VTO, and it will take us automatically to the VTO editor. So here you will see, as I said, there is like some video going on, but I don't recommend you to start with the video. So everyone has their own way of doing this video editor and choosing the correct, image or the video first. But my suggestion is start with the foot Y. So this is the Y-axis that you will see the shoe, and then we will align these to the feet that we have seen here. So as you can see here, we see some like feet going on, like it's a little bit visible. We will click on the boat on the footwear sides, and then I'll just take them to a little bit higher. So as you can see, you won't be able to see the feet any longer, and it's perfectly aligned, and you can like play a little bit longer. I'm kind of perfectionist when it comes to this video editor, but I won't take your time, guys. So I'll just do my best and finish it like very quickly. But if it comes to me, I'll just play a lot longer. Once you go to the foot X, what you can do here is that, again, you will see some angles, like you'll see some feet going on from here and here as well, and you can move them, from to the left or to the right, but you just need to select left pair first. So I select the left pair, and then I'm just taking them a little bit to the left. So it's perfectly aligning right now. And then what we're gonna do is, on the right side, we'll just take them to the right a little bit more. Yeah, that looks good to me. When I'm like confident that, okay, this is looking good to me, I'll go to the video. And you can watch everything in action right now. So if everything looks good, we won't have any issues just showing anything. So everything looks good to me. Of course, there's always, some improvement areas that you can do. And also you can just rotate the shoe if it's necessary. There are like some a lot of things to do in the VTO editor, but as like in a nutshell, this is what you can actually provide it to the customer really easily. But in the meantime, we also have the auto fine tuning. We don't have to do these fine tuning by one, but auto fine tuning feature is also really cool. That's actually fine tuning the shoe according to this one. So once you upload this as a new model, it will take you directly to where we are, the object. So this is actually updated, the version 6 updated by its positions, that you have changed. And then it will automatically, update the 3D model, and it's ready to publish. So what I'm going to do is that I will publish this VTO again to the Howdy 8. It's the same because we would like to provide the AR and V2 experiences at the same time. So that's why once I publish it here, we'll get another confetti, and then everything is kind of ready, and we can provide these to the customers. So as Ugur showed you guys, we have the QA catalogs. So I would like to go to the QA catalog as well, just to show you how these, processes work in progress, ready, published, unpublished. I just want everything to be visualized in this, in everyone's mind, actually. So once the Howdy Partner QA person, this is, let's say Howdy Partner is our client. So once the Howdy Partner's QA person logs in, this is, they need to have a login information because they have the access to serve it to the customer, serve it to the live. They also have the right to the take them out, so unpublished function. So these were the work in progress one. As you will see here, we have the Nike Air Jordan. But what we need to do here is that as a QA person, as artlabs, we need to make sure that we approve these models before everything is like okay on the client side. So since I didn't approve, I just published and I didn't do the QA on my end. I didn't use my phone to check the VTO, or I didn't do anything yet. So that's why it's still in work in progress. They need to be checked. Everything needs to be aligned. And once they're aligned, actually, we will see them in the ready section. So the client will see them in the ready sections, and they can publish these assets to their client site. So they can click on the Start VTO, and once they click, they will get the QR code, and then they can just scan these QR codes and try the shoe on their feet. And
Can we try it on? Can we use that QR code?
Yeah, actually, we will go over lots of the links. Yigit will present them. We told you the whole process, but you should see the end result. What we are generating at the end of today. But I need to clarify one thing. Everything you see in between what we are doing in Art Labs, it is an internal process. The only thing that our customers do is once they connect their API into our system, they are just logging into this catalog, the QA catalog, and they see the progress, which ones are generated, which ones are ready to be published. So we are doing everything in between internally, so we do not create any friction at the client end. They are just seeing the end results.
Yeah, this is actually what client gets. The clients don't see anything behind, they don't actually have maybe any idea what Artlabs Studio, So they just get the QA catalog, and they just QA their products, seeing 2D images. This is the 2D images that they provided or that we get from their websites, and then they can actually click the 3D button here and then see the 3D models right here. And once they're okay with it, try the AR, try the VTO, and then 3D view, they can just click on the publish and then go through these, in the publish part. So as you will see here, we have like 4 published products, and when the season is over or they don't want to, it's stock out, they can like come here and unpublish the product, and they will see these unpublished products in these, under the unpublished category as well. So
real quick, there's a question in the chat about what technologies you're using in the background. I know you mentioned at the beginning in the slides the major kind of AWS technologies, but what technologies are you using in the background? I have a feeling that WASM is a part of it.
Yeah,
WASM.
yeah, it's an interesting abbreviation for the WebAssembly. So yeah, like our tech stack is not using the WebAssembly directly, but like some of the, for example, we are using for ML inference, we are using a TensorFlow, but therefore TensorFlow is using the WebAssembly. So I think like a good sense, but like half true sense in it.
Yeah, so that's why the Sercan is waiting on the the background.
Yeah.
So everything is related to. But the more the honest answer to this question, it is a complicated product because at the end of the day you are doing a real time rendering on browser with some machine learning algorithms and another AI models at the backend for the 3D creation. So we have like the very complicated backend. We are just showing the the simple UI to our the clients, and yeah, Sercan will help you with this. Thank you so much, Damla. I think
Yep.
we should show some the examples yet, huh?
Let's see it.
Yeah.
Go.
If you'd like to try some.
Although I'm gonna kind of miss seeing the confetti. That was kind of like I felt
Oh,
like I
yeah.
like want to race every time. Like, let's go.
Yep. It should be on now. Some long-awaited time because like it's the best part. The showing is the easiest way for everyone. Like this is also like gonna answer the question of why 3D model of the shoes at the first place. So let's try it. I shared my screen.
Now you'll know the mystery will be solved.
This
More
is
confetti.
For example, this is one of the products that we really like. So let me just quickly just help you scan the QR code. Then I'll just get to the other ones.
Let me try as well.
Yeah, I want to try this.
Yeah, it's very exciting stuff.
Let's see.
So
I did just
we
get
are
a
not
pedicure.
supposed-
Should I show you what my? No.
So we are not supposed to show some, the real examples on our customer websites, like they're using the different logos. So that's why we have only provided some preview links. But you can easily imagine, you go to an online, the website, you click on a button, like the virtual traffic,
Ooh.
see this experience. What do you think, Lauren?
Well, I don't think the color is for me. It doesn't go with a whole lot of stuff, but it fits quite nicely.
Yeah. Actually,
But that's exactly what we would like to hear, because you can actually
Yeah.
check if the color is for you or not. So that's a really cool feedback.
Yeah,
And
that's like that's really
I'm
informed
climbing up the
purchase
wall with them.
decision.
yeah. I was wondering what would like the size difference look like, but it fits perfectly.
We are not recommending anything related to sizing right now. It is for the visual. That you can also use it, in front of a mirror to understand how it looks like with your different, the clothes, as a combination. This scroll through the different colors. On the website, for example, Lauren, we are having a, another layer, at the bottom that you can swipe the different colors. So you can pick the best one for you.
I
But
have it. I switched to the AR mode, and so I'm just kind of looking. It looks really amazing on the table. That's like actually pretty incredible.
that's the thing, Lauren. Without incredible, it is not acceptable for e-commerce purposes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
In the end, it will
into
just end up with that shoe is not what I ordered. So like if it's not 100, like at least 99% matching. So like there's a problem there.
Yeah, I recommend for people who are also looking at this, switch to the AR mode and like get really close with your camera. The textures
Oh,
are
yeah.
like spot on.
Yeah.
Really, really well done. That is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
But now I got to get my
just
shoe off the
zooming in.
table. I want somebody to yell at me.
Do you want to?
Yeah,
And
people are saying it's so cool on the chat. So
yeah, so that's so like at the same time, why having the 3D asset and what are the like opportunities coming with it? This is one of the things, for example, just an ideation, like after an ideation, we did something like this. Okay, let's have a banner that moves, that shows the elasticity of the shoe. Then, like, imagine this as an ad or the banner in somewhere, in a paid area, in the paid banner. So you can just like directly scan it and then move to the experience and start your shopping experience from your directly while the shoes are on your feet. So it's all coming full circle and with a new way of shopping. So again,
Very
like since we optimized the shoes and we tried the shoes, and like we're also some those beautiful models are also looking well on the desktop on the in the traditional shopping methods. For example, when you're just checking a bag, there's also the details and the material of it, the reflections on it. So, and like what is the size of it, and also I think this is something you can. Sorry,
because like usually when it comes to bag, actually it's a small bag. It is not a big one. So can you please open the QR code again, Eat?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I need to see it in space because I don't speak metric, so I don't know how big it is or not. I need to see it.
Yeah. Put it on the table, remove the shoe and put the table.
Yeah, that's right. I already took the shoe off.
Yeah.
My mom might see this.
And it will not be a good combination with that yellow Salomon and this bag. No,
Look who's the fashionista now. You never know, indeed.
Do y'all remember Punky Brewster? It looks like something. No. One of you is too young. Other of you are too not from America. When it was in the 80s, there was just like showing this girl and she had really wild clothing and like very bright colors, nothing matched. It was like all over the place. So anyways, I thought maybe she would do something like that,
Yes, why not?
Again, the texture on this is pretty incredible. That's can you rotate it or do you just have to walk around it?
You can rotate it with your 2 fingers, like with an effect, like rotate or pinch in, pinch out.
Aha. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Now we're
There we go.
Yes. That's awesome. That is awesome.
Can we keep that comment and like print it out and like sleep with it at night?
Let's do that.
Keep this comment right there.
Lauren was too busy checking the bag.
What did I miss?
Yeah,
let me show it again so we all see it again.
Thank you. Oh, my corn.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can you go ahead with one more example?
One
more.
Home
appliance.
What do we want?
There's one question
Let's
that
do
I
the
want to cover in the chat because it's
Let's
sort
do
of
the larger
related
one.
to security. If anyone can touch on this a little bit.
I'm just going to read it out loud in case there's any.
The simple answer is no. We are not retrieving. No, it is very simple. We are not retrieving any camera, the record or session. It is computed locally on your browser.
So yeah, when you enter the link and when you enter the SDK, your phone basically downloads the model and the application and the model on your local browser, and you just run it there.
Cool.
And actually, in the real-time applications, when we integrate into a customer website, we are showing a quick, the warning just to make saying that we are not recording anything because sometimes people do not want to give the camera access.
Mm-hmm.
So we are saying them, guys, this is secure. We are not doing
anything. That might be a bit overkill for your home, Lauren, right now, but.
Look,
after the bags,
we eat a lot in this house. Let me see. My model didn't pop up. I might have to stand up and.
I will send you this later, Laura.
Yeah. The innovation is.
I want to see it now. Just kidding. That is pretty fantastic stuff. What other kind of stuff do you guys do besides? Because you said you want to be the go-to API across industries. So what's on the roadmap? Talk to us a little bit about your roadmap.
We started with a very specific use case. We believe footwear is, the big enough, by the way, to capture a good market, to be honest, because, it will be standard. The 3D first, the having immersive experiences will be standard in the footwear market. And then luxury is the next step, because, when you are buying something online, especially when it comes to luxury, you need to understand the product. Not only look into some visuals, to see some functionalities. In order to engage it more. And then the next step is for the apparels, which is kind of complicated, by the way. To be honest, the shoes are rigid, but when it comes to having a T-shirt, you need to apply really good physics, like to make sure how it.
Right.
If you are moving, for example,
Yeah.
how the shape is changing. So we will just take our time, like the 1.5 years before the jumping into the apparel, as we are having a the really good demand, especially, but we don't want to provide any solution which is not perfect. As I said, e-commerce is a sensitive area. We need to make sure everything is going fine. And then the e-commerce is one of the verticals, Lauren. If you ask me, after 10 years, where you see the art labs, because our thing is democratizing 3D content generation. E-commerce is one of the use cases, but there are there will be more AR VR developers, they developing games, developing different applications for the real estate, the things that we cannot even imagine today, right? New types of products with the new upcoming devices, with the glasses, maybe in the contact lenses in the future. So we want to to touch on many areas, but we want to be focused on especially democratizing this, making it easier for all the creators, individuals, brands, retailer, agencies, for everyone.
When you're talking about doing apparel virtual try-on, what are you guys doing to kind of get there? Because I imagine there's got to be lots of like videos of different shapes and sizes and colors, wearing stuff and moving with them, and the clothing reflecting the different shadows as things are moving. So is there lots of research going on with that? Or how are you collecting, this data to kind of enable you to get there?
As you said, it is an ongoing research topic. We are doing it as well, but there are many smart people around the world. They are working on that as well.
No, we're all here. We're all here. That's it. 5 people. That's
No,
it.
I don't know. I'm afraid of you, Lauren. There are many people. But there are some promising applications when it comes to apparel. It is not like real-time 3D experiences, but like more like 2D generation things. You can combine it, for example, some marketplaces are doing this as well. For example, you have a the T-shirt photo of that, and you have, for example, your photo, your body. So it can merge it to generate a new 2D asset. So you can have a feeling how it looks like on you, but still there are problems around the sizing. The Pyone, as you said, it can be decisive, and we don't want it. Because the next step we will be talking about what is the value proposition for our clients, what we achieve together, because without making them generating more money, and also if they're the customers are not happy, we are our business have two sides. Retailers, the brands must be happy, they must get more profit, the reducing the product return rates, saving money on that side. Also, customers must be happy. They need to get a better experience, a better online shopping experience. We need to be very careful by launching those products, and we are very that's why Damla is a kind of the perfectionist things, and she's leading the product. I'm just coming with some stupid ideas every day. Can we do this? Can we do this? Is it possible? And Damla is stopping us.
Yes, anything is possible. The world is yours.
That's the starting point from Ugur. Anything is possible, then no.
I'm obsessed with earrings. You can't tell because when I do these, I use whatever. But like, do you have like earring try-ons? Because like that would be super. I buy like so much of my stuff online, and there've been a few times where I got stuff and like way bigger, or like sometimes way smaller than I expected. I'm like, that would have been. Let me know when that's coming out.
Yeah, I will show you our roadmap again. If you had time, after this, the session, like, yes, it's on the plan. No, we are not currently providing it right now, but we are working on that.
The face detection models are like advancing quite fast, and like it's built in the iOS now. So
yeah,
I'm pretty sure like if you can
all
adjust
ears were created equal.
yeah.
So Pete, can you go ahead with the what we achieved like in two different categories? We don't want to bother you too much. We don't add some lots of the customer logos here, but we want to give you an overview what we have achieved.
While that's loading, there is another question in the chat. It says, so you are generating 3D models from product images. What would you think about generating cooler AI generated product images from 3D models?
Ooh, good question.
Our technology can touch on two different the parts of the supply chain, we call it like right now we are providing some direct to consumer experiences, the presenting the product as itself, but also it is applicable to the design process. For example, the Hoka, one of our customers, like they are probably the generating 100 different color samples at the beginning, so they are doing some ideation process and then going for the mass production after that. It is possible to generate, actually we had a project like the making it shiny with dynamic textures, like you are wearing something from the from the aliens world, like it is constantly changing thing. But our mission is especially to at this stage the product itself, present the product as it is exactly, but it is possible to generate the different the imaginary assets, cooler assets, which will be a different use case other than e-commerce at that moment. And we are not allocating our resources for this at this stage.
Gotcha.
But if you want to collaborate, please reach out to us. I think this is a good idea, so we can think about it together.
Let's do cool stuff together.
So yeah, like you mentioned the showing the product as it is. So like by showing the product as it is and like helping the consumers make more value-informed decisions actually. So like by doing it and creating a new way of interacting with the product, just checking every site, like playing with it a little bit, put it on the shoe, change it, and continue the shopping journey that way. So we conducted the A/B test with our clients in the past year, and on the footwear case, in one of the A/B tests, we saw that there is a 71% increase in the conversion rate. So like that is like 1.7 times the converting more the users in total. So and also the informed decision side is also decreasing the product returns. So because as you said, like you are seeing the product before buying, and those both benefits are ending up with the something around like 11 times the return on investment. So they're investing one in us and they're receiving 11 times the business value. So like a direct value, and the we cannot assess the indirect value, because like, oh yeah, those shoes are looking so cool, that brand is so cool. Fact is like we cannot measure it yet, but that's currently the analytic part is 11 times the return on investment. So on the again, seeing the thing as it is like also it's better on the furniture because it's of course the size part is very important. For example, having a hand trolley, if it's lower, if it's smaller than you expect, this is directly a product return. And the furniture, they have the products are quite large in size. For example, a shoe, it's a little box, but for a for a sofa, it's not quite easy to ship it directly back. So again, in the furniture's A/B test, so two times more conversion and the 60% less product returns. And we're still this is our longest from a longest client that we've been working together for more than 2 or 3 years.
Nice.
Yeah, the whole idea is just the filling the gap between the brick and mortar shopping and the e-commerce. Like when you go to a store, when you're buying shoes, you are less likely to return it, right? Because you're feeling it, you understand every detail of the product, but it doesn't work like that. The e-commerce. So we are tapping on the visual part, but I'm sure in the future that there will be more haptic experiences. Maybe when I was doing my master, one of the the researchers in our university, he was working on some screens that you can get the feeling, like when you
I
are
was
putting
gonna ask. Like that'd be cool.
when you are putting a snake, the texture on the monitor. This is that kind of the screen that you can feel how it feels to touching a snake, like the
Oh.
leg of a snake.
Okay. If
Yeah,
you're
that
into
kind.
that kind of thing,
Yeah, and
That's
still, I think this is immersive experience as well, because the
right.
definition of immersive is like they're having that feeling and not being somewhere in between reality and in virtuality, right?
Yep.
That's the point. And with the more haptics, I think that there will be way for different applications in the near future. Maybe it is not like 20 years later.
Yeah. My daughter's not gonna ever have to go into a store ever again to buy something. She'll just click it there. We met with a company one time that does like these haptic gloves, but more they just looked very Iron Man. Anyways, and so they could replicate like just wind, right? So if you just like blow on it, that'd be interesting to have like a whole suit like just for trying on clothes. Be like, oh, let me just put my clothes try on thing and like see how it fits and feels in the breeze and stuff. So just waiting for that. Throw that on the roadmap. Just that's next. You'll go from AR to haptic feedback try-ons. I'm into
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And I read a research saying the 70% of the reality perception comes from the visuals.
No
So the
doubt.
rest is hearing and feeling. There are of course many components to understand what is real,
Yeah.
but 70% comes from the the visuals. For example, for that bag, it that has shown the demo. Like when you see that letter texture, you can even feel it sometimes without touching it.
Right.
Once you
Yeah.
have a great quality in the visuals, it is a great component for the perception.
Hmm. Like
Just
you
small.
eat with your eyes first, you shop with your eyes first,
Yeah, and especially after spending thousands of hours with the 3D assets, now it's normal
Yeah.
getting a feeling of it, like I
just
know how it
just
feels.
just trying to say something smart to trying to be the so-called smart with some the random research guys,
Being
that 70%
being
of the
conducted in this room, in this extreme room.
That's right. We're the 5 smartest people in the
Okay.
world right here. That's it. Right? That's us.
Cool. Could I
Excellent.
know a little bit about the pricing? How it works?
let me show you. I'm sharing my screen again. It will be the last part. So again, it's me.
You put up one more slide or
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Perfect. So the one of the things, our pricing has two components. The first is a fixed fee based on the 3D generation fee. We call it fixed because they have our clients, they have a certain number of products in their catalog, right? The 5,000 shoes per year. But we have another component, we call it variable. We are charging them the number of experiences we are delivering to the end users. And it creates a win-win situation between us. Like, as long as people use it more, we are charging more to those brands. And actually, they are promoting it because those experiences sell more. As Yigit mentioned, it converts 70% more. So we are not charging them, if nobody is using it, right? And if more people are using it, they increase their revenue and profit, so they are paying us more. So it creates a the win-win situation. That's why we are looking it as a partnership instead of a customer and vendor relation. And especially for today, I would like to say, that we are making it easier for the brands to understand the value. So we are offering a free proof of functionality that they can select one or the 3 SKUs. We generate the 3D assets. We actually integrate our solution into their website, so they go live with that the single SKU or 3 SKUs. They can discuss this internally, or they can see the functionality, how smooth it is. And in the next step, we are applying a proof of concept, which is more like the paid the process. We need to we want to collect enough data to to represent the overall business, so they can collect data with the augmented reality experiences and they discuss this internally with their leadership team if they are matching with their the business goals before committing to scale it up across the whole catalog. And usually when we try with between 50 to 200 products, 200 SKUs, in 1 to 3 months we can collect enough data to to reflect the overall business and how the augmented reality affects their top line revenue. And actually we have a special the call to action for today. If you reach us through the hello.artlabs AI and mention the AWS Howdy Partner session, we can they take you in order to create the proof of functionality real fast, and it will be limited for the first 10 footwear brands or retailers reaching out in the next couple of days or weeks.
Very cool.
Now we need a confetti here.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
I can
Fist up.
Ooh.
Next time is stream requirements, like buy some real.
Now you know for next time.
Yeah.
When we do another episode next year, because you're gonna have all kinds of stuff to update us on, just confetti every other slide. It's the only way I'm gonna let you put so many slides in again.
Oh, yeah.
No, this has been really amazing. Super excited about the offering at the end. That was pretty cool. Thanks for all the demos, for all of the try-ons. Super interactive. Y'all have been just a joy to work with here and otherwise. So we appreciate your partnership. We appreciate what you do, and that you're on AWS. So. And thanks for everybody out there that hung out with us for the past hour and a half and change. We're here every Wednesday. Every Wednesday.
2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific time. Next week, our partner is Netgate. It's a cool partner too. So please tune in next week as well to learn about cool stuff.
And if you are if you're in the live chat, please fill out the survey. It helps us, track how well we're doing, what you guys like to see, what you don't like to see, more or less of all that good stuff. So again, thank you everyone for joining. See you next time.
Thank you so much.
The best.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.